everybody, and a very refreshing Sunday morning to all of you. So, today we are going to discuss a very, very important topic, that is how we can teach our kids to listen. So, as I already shared in one of my shorts earlier, that we all teach through so many modules, we teach our children through so many activities, we have listening activities in schools. But still, somewhere, we as educators, as well as parents, we are struggling for making our children to listen to us. So, what is the problem and how we can fix it apart from whatever curricular activities and the listening modules that you are using with kids to make them develop this skill? What else we can incorporate in our day-to-day teaching and learning practices, as well as at home when you are dealing with your children, so that they become efficient listeners? So this is what I'm going to cover in this live talk today. So let me start with a fact, that is, during our communication we spend 65% of our time in listening, but we are able to retain only 25%. Now, why is it so that we are only retaining 25% out of the 65% that we are spending, the time that we are spending on listening? So, the reason behind is, first thing, very important thing is, maybe we are missing out on the intention. So, for doing anything, excuse me, for you, when you set up for any kind of action, when you set up for any kind of task, you need to have the first step, the first thing that you need to understand is that you need to have intention to do that. So first thing is, we should concentrate on how much strongly we are intended to listen, right? This is one thing. Now, why is it happening that we are losing out on listening these days? Why has this become a big issue, right? So it is not only an individualistic problem, it is basically how the kind of times we are growing up in, right? Or the times that we are dealing with everybody, in what kind of times. So this particular time that we are living in, it's a very fast moving time, wherein you have so many resources available. The I would say the main thing, the main emphasis on listening is reduced due to the availability of multiple resources of communication that we have these days. For example, we have audio recordings, we have video recordings, we have text recordings. Nowadays we also have audiobooks, right? We So what happens is, usually the tendency of children, that if you try to tell something to them, then they will say, "Oh, please share the information. I'll read it myself, or I'll go through it. Please make a small video. I'll make a crux of it, and then I will listen to it." Right? Or I will watch, or what students do usually, "Ma'am, we will watch the video recordings. So you please tell us the main topic, and we will watch it ourselves." So basically, when you are having these resources available with you, you are losing out of that on that patience to listen to the person. So that is where your efficiency of listening is getting reduced. So one important factor is this, that we have so many resources available these days, wherein we are bound not to listen, because we always have an option to do that thing later. You are not required to be present at the same moment, because you have an option wherein you can go and check that same topic, same content later on, right? Another thing is, people put earphones. So this is again, they get so very much used to of their own kind of content, of means they get so very much distracted in what they are listening already, that they will not pay attention to the person in front, because they get so very much engrossed in that content which they are already listening. Second thing, third thing is that we have sound bites, means little information is presented in the form of TikTok videos, in the form of shorts. So you lose out. And if, like, suppose there is a short of 1 minute, right? You are more likely to watch that short instead of watching a live stream or maybe a lecture for 10 minutes or maybe 7 minutes also. You find it very long. That has again made us habitual of listening to short talks and quick information we want to process instead of giving in a deep thought while listening to a bit longer talk. Then we have media. So in media also, you see the news channels, you see these people, they just scream to bring your attention to what they want to say. They have to scream actually to bring your attention to what they have to report to you. So that has also become a very big issue. So all these factors are contributing on our losing out on listening skill. Now, what is the difference between listening and hearing? Again, we need to understand this difference. When we say that somebody is listening, means listening is a mental process which includes that you comprehend what is told to you, you understand it well, and then after understanding, you are able to respond to it accordingly. So, this whole process is known as listening, right? And when we say hearing, it is just a method of receiving any kind of sound that doesn't involve any kind of understanding, that doesn't involve any kind of comprehending or response to that particular thing. So when you hear, you may not respond, but when you listen, you will respond. So this is a very big difference between listening and hearing. So we should train our children to listen and not only to hear. Hearing is, we can say, an initiating process, but then the something which adds depth to that hearing is the listening. After that, now why active listening is so very much important? Now it is not only restricted to children, it is also for adults, it is also for the working professionals, it is for the adolescents especially, that why listening is so very much important, why we are harping on developing this skill so much. It is because listening helps you become more productive. You avoid reacting and you start responding when you are listening effectively. Then you are also able to provide constructive feedback to the person from whosoever is sharing the information with you. Then you are also able to develop empathy. If you are listening to a person consciously, then you are able to put yourself into their shoes and understand their situation well. So it plays a very important role whenever you are working or you are at home, you are with your children or you are with your students as well. Then next thing is it also enhances leadership skills, because who is a leader? A leader is somebody who brings the team together and then carry forward them together towards certain heights, right? So how will he or she do that? Only if he or she is able to listen consciously, have empathy, right, and can avoid judgments. So active listening and conscious listening also helps you avoid judgments, right? Instead, you can critique, you can give them a constructive feedback than simply criticizing or saying, or just simply reacting to that particular talk. So these are some of the benefits of conscious listening, which plays a very important role in development of your overall communication skills. Now, how is listening related to time and space? If I tell you now that you close your eyes and just feel in wherever, like in whichever space you are sitting, you are able to receive the sounds, the vibrations that you can get in that particular room, in that particular hall. So you are actually able to judge that in what kind of space you are sitting, in a closed room, in a small room, in a big hall. So this is how listening is related to space. Then time. Now most of the times you must have observed this, that Like sometimes we are talking to a person, and then we suddenly realize, "Arey, something, this thing has happened earlier also. And when it happened earlier, this is what happened, right? Or this is how I responded." Similarly happen this thing happens with music also. So when you're listening to some music, then some, and if you have listened to that music earlier also some time back, then you're able to relate the incidents that happened in that time frame. So this is how active listening and conscious listening help you relate your past to your present and make them connected in terms of time and space. So active listening plays a role in this too. After that, now how, coming back to our main focus, that how we can focus on listening activities in our schools apart from what we are giving children in terms of their curriculum related activities. So first thing is model. Each educator and a parent should model active and conscious listening in front of their children or with their children. Until and unless you bring in that change in yourself, you become a conscious listener, you become an active listener, it is impossible that you expect the person in front or the child in front to become an active listener. So first thing is you have to model that yourself. You have to consciously inherit that habit of active listening, and then only you can pass on to your children. Second thing is introduce a 3-minute time in your classrooms or when you are home with your children, 3 minutes of silence. Make them into practice. You also sit with them and practice 3 minutes of silence where you're not speaking anything, it's totally quiet, right? So that will, what we say, ignite your all the senses, the listening senses in your brain, which will actually make you listen to the minutest of sound that you hear around. So it's also very relaxing. So instead of speaking and responding and reacting, let's be silent for few minutes and keep it 3 minutes in the starting. Practice it regularly with your children and see the difference. After that, listen to comprehend and summarize and ask questions, right? Practice this with your children again, excuse me. So you can give this as a pair task to your children in classroom, and then at home, you can practice this with your own children by asking them that I'm telling you this information. You just make a meaning out of it, summarize it to me, and ask a question that you have related to it. So give them stepwise instructions, right? This particular activity can be done in any subject area and in any situation at home with your children, right? Wherein you bring them into this practice consciously that they are listening to you to comprehend, to summarize, and then to ask a question. So when you have these steps listed to them, then they will consciously try it every time until they develop a habit of it. So this is another strategy through which you can help them develop active listening. After that, creating patterns out of sounds around you. Very interesting. I heard this somewhere in a TED talk, and I thought of incorporating it here also. So very interesting. Like there is a washing machine sound, if there is a mixer sound, if there is a, like what can we say, some kind of construction is going on around in your house or near your house. So you can create patterns like 1 2 1 2 3, 1 2 1 2 1 2 3, 1 2 3, like this. So this also again charges your brain to listen carefully, right? So that, and also makes you more creative, that you can develop patterns out of what you're listening around, the general sounds that you see hear around, right? After that, very interesting thing is introduce and play 2 to 3 minutes games in the classroom where you only use your body language to convey the message to children, right? They should be following your body language, but you can say something else, right? So now what are they listening and what are they following? That will make a very interesting combination. And those who will be active listeners, they will concentrate more on what you are saying, right? And those who are active observers or visual learners, they will concentrate more on your body language. So you can play this game to encourage active listening in your classroom. Again, it will be some kind of a challenging task for children, and at home also. Sometimes when you are playing with your children, spending quality time with your children, you can incorporate this activity or a game. After that, give me five. So again, give me five is what? Try to concentrate all the senses of children on you. Eyes on you, ears towards you, mouth should be shut, hands should be on the table, and your posture should be straight when you are listening. So encourage this. That is again five. Eyes should be on you, ears should be toward concentrated on what you're saying. Then your mouth should be shut, your hands should be on the table, and your posture should be straight. So when you sit actively, you are active in all the physical senses, and then you also listen consciously and actively. So these are the few strategies that I wanted to share with all of you, which you can incorporate in your schools, in your classrooms, as well as you can do it with your children at home. So, teaching children and building skills in children, it's a combined effort of both parents as well as teachers. So, please do not blame only schools and teachers for the development of skills in children. The first learning, the first basic learning for every child starts at home. So, let's be conscious parents and let's be conscious educators to develop these very, very precious skills in our children. And it is not only important for children, it is so when we are teaching children, we are ourselves learning. So these skills are very much important for us too. Let's not take it for granted that I know everything, I can do this, I don't need to learn anymore. We need to learn. We need to learn because sometimes in the flow of our own growth and at the position where we are, we forget our basic learnings. So let's not forget that, and let's keep learning, keep growing, keep relearning and unlearning, and keep teaching our children the good skills that will form a very strong foundation for them. I hope this live video will be beneficial for all of you and you will gain some insights out of it. And if you do, please leave a comment below whenever you will see this recording on YouTube on my channel so that I can refine my content maybe next time, or I may get to know that what I did good and what I need to improve on, right? So I hope this will be helpful for what it was meant for. And see you all next time, next Sunday, with a new topic. And if you have any topic in your mind that you want me to discuss and have a discussion on, please leave the topic name in the comment section below. And I'll see you again next Sunday with a new topic. Bye bye.